Good morning, everybody. It's early. I'm gonna wait and see if I can get a few people to load on before I start talking. I'm not going to be long, y'all. I don't really know how to work this thing, okay? I'm trying to learn how to, maneuver these lives and put these pictures and things up. So I'm gonna wait till a few people tune in and please share this live video. This is sort of a public service announcement, right?
What happened?
As you all know, I am a missing and murder advocate. My name is Blaq Rose. I'm Rose Brown. I have been featured in many documentary series surrounding the stories of missing persons, as well as many interviews dealing with a lot of high-profile cases right now. Some of them are in the missing person, are still in active, okay, even though they're cold. Some are, what would I say, in the court processes because people have been arrested, but bodies have not been found, okay? As you all know, I'm going to say about a few days ago, I shared a story, a missing person case by the name of Amari Kelly, okay? And I get a lot of cases from the NamUs database, all right? Some of them I go and I research. Some are sent to me, okay? Amari's case was one that was sent, emailed to me to share, okay? So, upon sharing this case, right, I found out that it was another young man that was with him, all right? This young man, the flyer is right here, okay? This is a picture of this young man. His name is Dante Pierre Wicker, okay? He was also with Amari, all right? And what I'm finding out is that January the 21st, they attended a concert, okay, at the 31 Lounge in Detroit, Michigan, because that's where they were from. They were from Detroit, Michigan. They both attended a concert in Detroit, Michigan. Amari, as well as Dante. The picture's right here, all right? I also have posted his flyer, all right? My plans are this morning. I have a procedure this morning, so that's why I'm up. But my plans are to reach out this morning before I go to the Detroit Police Department, right? I had a long conversation with Dante's mother last night, as well as his little sister. Shout out to his little sister for reaching out, okay? That's why it's important, to my job as an advocate is to get these stories out here, okay? Is to share these stories. Y'all all know missing persons is like very underrated. It's hard to get people to share these stories, but y'all have to understand that people are missing. There are families missing their loved ones. And some of these people disappear, and are reported missing under suspicious circumstances, like Dante, all right? As well as Amari. And what I'm finding out is another young man that was also picked up and went with them. From my understanding, they arrived at the Lounge 31, the 31 Lounge in Detroit, Michigan, right? And Amari is a rapper, all right? And he was set to perform. This is Amari, because I'm printing out pictures and stuff. This is Amari right here. Y'all see, if y'all go to my page, y'all will see this picture posted up on my page. It's also in the Nameless database as well. This is Amari, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a good picture of Dante. This is Dante. This is Dante. Like I said, they both, along with another young man. I don't have all of the information on this other young man who was with them, who they picked up. But once they got to the Lounge 31, right? 31 Lounge in Detroit, Michigan, Amari was supposed to perform that night, all right? Once he got there, his performance was canceled, okay? His performance, it was canceled, all right? So, he called his family, let them know that he arrived there. I think from where they lived, it was maybe like an hour drive, hour, 30 minutes away from where they live, right? I mean, from where they live to the club, right? That they were, the lounge that Amari was supposed to perform in, right? So, once he got there, he called his family and let them know he had arrived. And I guess he let them know that they had canceled his performance. After that situation, nobody knows what happened to them, all right? When the police talks about this situation, they don't even include Dante into the vicinity, okay? They don't put him in the situation, but from what my understanding is, Dante was with Amari, okay? And they went to this club. Now, I'm also hearing some other things, but I will not, talk about that right now until I get more information on that, because I just don't do that type of stuff. I like to fact check things before I mention them. But like I said, this morning before I go to my procedure, I will be calling the Detroit Police Department to see what the hell is going on, because I found out a couple of things by talking to the family, Dante's family. They didn't give her a police report number, like a case number or anything. But it is, they do have him listed as missing. But like I said, he is not on the NamUs database. A lot of times, cases reach the NamUs database by two reasons. One is that the family has submitted a DNA profile. Okay? They have submitted a DNA profile to the law enforcement agency who is working on the case. And then they take that DNA profile and they put a whole profile up on the NamUs database, which comes with a case number as well. Okay? Or a police, law enforcement agency or advocate can add a registered advocate. I happen to be a registered advocate on NamUs. So sometimes when I have cases that I'm working with personally and I need them to get a little bit more attention, I put them on the NamUs database, okay? As well as linking with Blaq and Missing Foundation to help me get flyers together and get them posted on their website as well. So I will be reaching out with them as well this morning after I talk to the law enforcement agency and get the case number and everything, because that's how Blaq and Missing works. They like to have the case numbers, all of this stuff. They do call and check up on the cases and everything. I have had the pleasure of working with them several times. I was also featured in their HBO documentary series, Blaq and Missing. I was featured in episodes 3 and 4 in that HBO documentary series. I have worked with a lot of high-profile cases. A lot of them I have shared with their platform. Coming out as a missing person advocate, I didn't have a lot of the resources and things that I have now. Now I have an umbrella with a whole bunch of resources up under it to provide for my families, like lawyers, okay? Like resources for mental health, and a whole bunch of other resources. I help families get victims, children's Christmas things and all of that type of stuff. Those are the resources that I have up under my umbrella. But during that time, the only resource I had was Blaq and Missing Foundation. A lot of the cases that was featured in the HBO series are cases that some of them people I gave their very first interview. I introduced their missing loved one to the world for the first time, okay? And like I said, having Blaq and Missing Foundation as a resource to have for my families was great, but it was not enough. I come across so many different cases at so many different, they be at different levels sometimes. Sometimes I get them at the court process of it, where the missing person has either been found or not found, but somebody has been prosecuted and convicted and charged, with their murder and disappearance. Like the case of Olga Oro, which the man who was responsible for murdering her will be sentenced February the 3rd, okay? Yes, no, we have not found Olga's body yet. Olga's body has not been located. We went to trial on that case in September. Okay, he's facing 35 to 45 years. I take a lot of credit for being a part of that case, helping close that case, because me and the murderer had an encounter during one of the days that I was out canvassing. And 4 days after our encounter, it was all on a live video. He was arrested and charged with second-degree murder, okay, without a body. All right, they had enough evidence against him to prosecute him, okay, to convict him, indict him, prosecute him. Now, February the 3rd, he will be sentenced, okay? He will be sentenced. He's either going to get 35 to 45 years with that case. DC is, when I say DC is great with prosecuting cases that sometimes have bodies attached to them, they are great. Every case, most of our missing person cases that's in DC have, I'm going to say, have been, the people responsible for this have been convicted, okay? But we still haven't found the bodies. We really have not, okay? Relisha Rudd, her case is still active. March the 1st will be 9 years, okay? Every year I also participate in memorials and the anniversaries. We do flyer distributions, and all of that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to be participating in it this year because I'm really a little sick of it. You know what I'm saying? I'm sick of it, okay? I'm just sick of doing the same thing. And before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I had the pleasure of speaking with Relisha's homicide detective, okay? Because a lot of people, they don't understand that Washington, D.C. does not offer reward money for missing people, okay? The only time that reward money is offered is when they feel that it's a possible homicide involved. And sometimes they have to have a lot of information and evidence supporting that, okay? What a lot of people did not know, Relisha had a homicide detective, okay? She has homicide working on her case as well as a missing person investigator. She has 2 investigators working on her case. Missing persons and homicide. That's why Relisha has a $50,000 reward, okay, for any information on her whereabouts, okay? Or any information on that case that can lead to an arrest. Me, myself, y'all, and I say this proudly, I said it in the HBO documentary series, I say it every damn chance I get, okay? Because this is what I feel. This is what I have felt from the beginning of this whole situation. I've always felt that Relisha's grandmother and Relisha's mother know way more than what the hell they're putting out there. As a matter of fact, they're responsible. They should be held accountable for her disappearance because, see, this was a situation where that man just didn't walk into their lives, okay? This man did not just walk into their lives, okay? He did not just walk into their lives and just take Relisha away from them, all right? He was giving the opportunities, many opportunities, to take Relisha off somewhere, okay? And I know that for a fact because I have interviewed the families, okay? Coming up on her 8th year anniversary of her disappearance, I had a conversation with the grandmother as well as the aunt. Now, to be honest with you, that was the first time that I had ever had a conversation with her aunt. All right? The aunt, the infamous aunt, where Relisha was actually missing from. Because, see, Relisha didn't go missing from the DC General Homeless Shelter. That's why people push away from that. She was living with her family in the DC General Homeless Shelter, but she was not reported missing from there, okay? Because talking with her aunt, having the pleasure of talking with her for the first time, okay, I found out that the very first time that Mr. Tatum had picked Relisha up from the house and how that whole thing went, all right? So from what the aunt is telling me, the mother knew that man was coming there picking Relisha up and keeping Relisha overnight and taking her places and taking her out of town and hotels and all of that type of stuff. The mother knew it as well as the grandmother. Okay? They both knew. They both was a part of it. There were several times that the aunt told me, look, the first time he came and picked Relisha up from this house, you know, I had a problem with it. I reached out to the mom, her mother, my sister, and she basically told me if I did not let Relisha go with Tatum, that she was going to call the police on her and have her arrested for kidnapping her child. Okay? So this how deep this shit was. All right? So the mother knew that Relisha was going with Tatum. And so did the grandmother. It was an occasion that the grandmother was there, okay, at the house when Khalil Tatum came and picked Relisha up, all right? There were several times that the grandmother was there, and she said to the aunt, look, go ahead and let her go. If anybody asks any questions, tell them to come to me, all right? So they knew that this child, that Relisha, was going with Tatum. They knew that he was taking her out of town. They knew everything. All right, but they still have not been arrested. Why? Because there's not laws to support the bad shit that they have done. There's not laws to support that. There's not a neglectful homicide law, which there should be. It should be a neglectful homicide law put in any situation where there is a parent that is negligent for a child's demise, okay? Because a lot of times what they do is they take away the parents' parental rights. They take away the other kids like they did in Relisha's situation. They took away, you know, her mother's parental rights, where she gave her parental rights up, okay? They didn't have to take them away from her. She basically gave them up when she said out of her own mouth that she didn't want to deal with the kids anymore. And I'm talking about the boys that she has. She has 3 boys besides for Relicia. She has 3 boys, okay? What I will say is the stepfather, Antonio Wheeler, he has been in the fight because I have worked with him. He was one of the people, the first people that I interviewed from Relicious family, okay? That lived in that shelter with them, that can tell you some things, okay? And he had an ugly picture painted on him too as well. He had a very ugly picture painted on him, all right? Okay, because they were saying all kinds of stuff. I'm the type of person that I dig deep when it comes to dealing with these cases because I want to know the truth. There's the media truth and there's the truth that you get when you work with the families on a personal level, because a lot of the picture is of Dante Pierre, what is his name? Because I'm all over the place, y'all. Let me look. All right. Dante Pierre Wicker. This is who the picture of. I have him posted on my TikTok page as well. Let me start that over before I finish with Religious, since we got some new people that came on. Okay, Dante. I talked with his mother yesterday and his sister. Dante was reported missing January the 21st in Detroit, Michigan. He attended a concert with Amari Kelly, who was also reported missing January the 21st. Okay, they were together. They went to a club, a lounge called the 31 Lounge in Detroit, Michigan. Amari was supposed to perform at this club, okay? Once he got there, he called his family members and everything, told him he had arrived, this blah, 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 all of that. But the performance was canceled, okay? And so nobody has seen Dante, Amari, and it was another young man with them, which I have not talked to the family. I have not gotten a picture, but this is some of the stuff that I found out last night with talking with some of the family members of Dante, okay? My plan is to find out more why they have not took this situation serious, okay? Because they did find Amari's car, all right? They found Amari's car, but Amari Kelly, Dante Wicker, and the other young man was nowhere to be found, okay? So they found the car. I think they found the car. I want to say it was 5 or 6 miles from where this club was, the 31 Lounge, where Amari was supposed to perform. It was like 5 or 6 miles from there, but they did not find Dante, Amari, or the other young man that was with them. All right, so that's why I'm here this morning. This is on behalf of the family, just to help them get this case out here, as well as get it added and registered on the NamUs database. Talking with the law enforcement agency this morning, I will be reaching out to the investigators that's on this case, like I said, to see why they're not taking this situation serious, to see why, yeah, it does. That's what it sounds like. It does sound like a setup. With everything that I found out yesterday about this situation, it does. It does not sound right at all, okay? Y'all know what's been going on in the media right now with all of these rappers and things being murdered and stuff. Like, it's a lot going on out here. And I'm from the DMV area, and believe it or not, we got the same thing going on here. We have the very same thing going on here. All right, with these rappers and things being murdered and everything. It's a lot going on. So when I first heard of this case and I found out that, the young man Amari, was going to this club and he was supposed to perform and the performance was canceled and this young man was with him along with another young man. As soon as I get the information on that, pictures and all of that stuff, I'll get a flyer put up on my TikTok page. And another thing, y'all, I know I'm all over the place, but I do want to thank y'all. I do. Because I have been doing this for 30 years. I have been, I've done a radio show centered around missing people. I've been doing that for 7 years, right? And this is the most attention that these families has gotten, putting these flyers and things and this information on TikTok. So I want to thank y'all. I want to thank y'all so much for that, because that means a lot to the families. It really does. We're helping them, especially when it comes to these Black families, y'all. Y'all know when it comes to us, we get minimal to no concern. That's why I tell anybody that has a podcast that can take out some time, even if it's 15 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to share a missing persons flyer, please do so, because you would be helping these families a lot. Share these missing person flyers. When we share the missing person flyers, we are that family's support. We are that family. We are the ones that's helping that family get that information out on a national level. Okay? That's what we do when we share these flyers. And believe it or not, a lot of people are found. Sometimes it's not the best results. I'm talking about where a lot of people are found alive, okay? But then we have situations where people are found deceased, y'all, okay? But at the same time, it helps give these families closure. You don't know what that feels like. Y'all don't know what that feels like unless you've been through that yourself. To have a person that you love missing. You don't know where this person is at. You don't have a clue where this person is at. You know that it's something wrong. Okay? Then you get into the situation where the damn police, the investigators, nobody is taking it serious. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you feel some kind of way. I have talked parents off of ledges. I have been the advocate that has answered the phone 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the damn morning. Okay, to try to talk some things through with a family, with a mother. Okay, I deal with cases where people have been murdered, sharing the cases to help, get justice for the families. I follow them and watch them through their whole process. I'm not just a person there to, get click clout, or to put all of this bad information out about these cases. That's why I take pride in interviewing the families. It's important. It's important to be there at the beginning of these cases so that you can get an understanding to what's going on. Because that is my goal. My goal is to get an understanding, to understand what the hell is going on. Because being an advocate, I understand that many of these cases are not the same. When it comes to, the situation where we have situations where when men and boys are reported missing, 86% of the time they are always a homicide attached to it. Okay, or crime. Okay, and that is the statistics. That is how that is. That's how it's been for many, many years. Sometimes we had more men going missing that year than we had women. Okay? There's just many levels to missing persons. And each time that I felt like I have reached a point, where you done figured out something and you say, okay, well, this is what's going on, so we're going to work towards making this part of it better. Oh, it's something else that comes up. And most of the time, it's how these law enforcement agencies treat these families. And most of the time, they go off of what the family tell them. That's why it's always, you have to always, like, sometimes you just can't say the wrong thing. Okay? Now, every state is not the same. Like DC, when they put a missing person flyer up, when they get a missing person case, or a missing person make a missing person report, those, each and every person is considered critically missing. If you look at any DC missing person flyer, on top of it, it's going to say critically missing. That's what it's going to say on top of it, because they take it serious. They have a command center that is dedicated to missing people. That's all they deal with in that part. Okay, they have a missing persons command center, and that's all they deal with is missing people. They have investigators centered around missing peoples. They offer flyers, okay, because I offer flyers to some families. I do flyers, print up flyers all of the time for families, because some law enforcement agencies don't offer flyers, and flyers are very expensive to print up. The average color flyer at Staples costs 69 cents. And if you're getting 200 and 300 and 400, 500 of those flyers done, that can be a lot of money. Okay, so some law enforcement agencies don't offer missing person flyers. Some of them do. DC offers missing persons flyers. They do. Okay, like I said, they have a command center centered around missing persons. That's all they do. Okay? And a lot of times, when there are evidence supporting that this person might have been involved in a homicide, they attach a homicide detective to work with the missing person investigator. Okay, so most of the time, these folks have 2 investigators working their case. Okay, they have a missing persons investigator and they have a homicide investigator. Same thing that I was talking about with Relicia's case. She has Relicia Rudd, the young girl that was reported missing, 8 years old, that was reported missing back in 2014 at the DC General Homeless Shelter. Okay, I was speaking on that case because, like I said, it's just, I have so many things, like with my cases, I'm in different levels with them, like different aspects and points with them. Some of them, they're in the court cases, okay? Somebody has been charged and indicted on the disappearance and the murder, okay? Like Akia Eggleston. Akia Eggleston, 2017, Cherry Hill section of Baltimore, Maryland, was reported missing, 8 months pregnant, May the 6th. Okay, that was one of my own personal cases. I gave her family their very first interview ever. And that was a case that was featured in the HBO documentary series Blaq and Missing. Okay, so 8 months pregnant, had been missing since 2017, Baltimore, Maryland. Just last year, I want to say 2020, her 41-year-old baby father was arrested. He was picked up in Michigan. They picked him up in Michigan, and he has been arrested. So now he's getting ready to stand trial on her murder. See, we know he's murdered her, but he's been a fucking coward this whole time and has not told nobody what he did with her body. The same thing with Olga Oro. Okay, Olga Oro was another case that I worked. July 16th, she was reported missing, 2020, from the 300 block of Massachusetts Avenue Northwest in Washington, D.C. That was a case that I worked personally. That was a case that I worked to the point where I helped close that case, okay? And the person that's responsible, Olga has not been found yet. But the person responsible for her murder and disappearance has been arrested, prosecuted, indicted, convicted, the whole 9 yards. His sentencing, which he is facing 35 to 45 years, okay? Because they was able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he murdered Olga. I watched the video, okay? I watched the video that basically where I saw Olga walking into her apartment with her son, with this man, 55-year-old Donnell Sterling, and never being seen again. Okay? So, February the 3rd, he will be sentenced. Okay? And I'm praying that he get the 45 years. I'm praying that they didn't, concocted some other, maybe he can get a little bit more time. Because Olga left behind a son. Olga, when that situation happened with Olga's son was in the apartment when that man murdered his mother. Okay? And he had been in that apartment for 2 days by himself, and he was found wandering the hall. At the time, Malachi was 7 years old. And he was autistic, and he's autistic. Okay? So, he damaged, and it's no telling what that baby saw, what he heard, and anybody that knows about childhood traumas and things that children, witness, especially when it comes to, their parent being murdered, that stuff don't always come right out, okay? And in different states, even though he was there, in the house when that happened, he was not old enough to be questioned about the situation. That's going to be something that working with counselors, therapists, that's going to be something that is just going to have to come out of him, in time. A lot of stuff when kids have witnessed things like that, have experienced things like that, with counseling, with therapy, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody working with them at least, 4 times a month, maybe 2 times a week sometimes, is the only way that they're going to be able to feel comfortable with time to tell you what they might have saw or what they might have heard. Like Malachi was saying things like, he put my mom in a trash bag. And this was after a year of this situation happened. He was saying different things. You know what I'm saying? So that stuff really affects a child. So because of that, I pray that he gets even more time than 45 years. And the simple fact that these fucking cowards, y'all, they think that they can just sit up there and say, oh, I didn't do it. You ain't gonna never find a body. So you ain't gonna never be able to, arrest me or find me guilty or nothing. That's where they go. So a lot of times they hold on to what happened. A lot of times they hold on to what happened. They hold on to, knowing where your missing loved one is. They will take that shit to their grave. Even when they are sentenced and convicted and arrested and charged and all of that stuff. You would think that a lot of them would just say, okay, look, I did this too. I put her body this place. I, put their body that place. No. A lot of times they have to be given plea bargains and shit like that. Like the case with Pamela Butler. Okay? the person who was responsible for her disappearance, he had to be given a plea bargain. They gave him a 12-year plea bargain. He was already going to court and being charged with the murder and disappearance of his first wife. Pamela Butler was his girlfriend. Okay, and because she wanted to break up with him, he murdered her in her house. Okay, we watched this man. We watched this man on TV because they showed videos. Okay, but we watched this man take bags, trash bags out of her house. Okay, trash bags out of her house. About 10 years later, he decides, once the family and the prosecutors decide, okay, because the families get to a point, because sometimes the families have to agree with those plea bargains as well, okay? They will bring that situation up to the family and they'll say, okay, we can give him offer him a plea bargain of 12 years if he does this, if he does that. They did the same thing with Donnell Sterling, the person who was responsible for murdering Olga. Okay, and her disappearance. They put a plea bargain up for him too. But the plea bargain was, if you tell us where she is, we are not going to, no matter what the form of death was, however you murdered her, whatever the cause of death, we're not going to go further than a second degree charge. We're not going to go no further than that. No matter how we find her, what was the form of murder, okay? He didn't want to take it, all right? He didn't want to take that 12-year, plea bargain, because he was gun set on getting out of that situation because they didn't have nobody. He should have checked the motherfucking, memo, because one thing's for certain, two things for sure. DC prosecutes bodies without cases. They have never had an issue with prosecuting a body without a case. Let me see. My ex-wife told me I have to find a new place to live. Y'all, okay. But anyways, like I was saying, I just came here this morning. I'm going to come back a little later after I speak with Detroit Police Department on behalf of Dante Wicker. Okay? Because like I said, I think that they should be taking this a little bit more serious than what they are. Seriously, because Dante was with Amari Kelly. They were together. They attended a concert. The car was found. And they were not. Okay? And like I said, when it comes to black and brown people, they do not take us serious. So we have to take us serious. We have to be a part of the change that we want to see. Share a missing persons flyer. It don't take nothing but a damn second to put your finger on share and share it. Podcast hosts, radio hosts, online radio hosts, take 5 minutes out of your time, out of your show time, to speak of a missing persons case. It's nothing wrong with that. We are helping these families tremendously. We are their only source sometime of, getting this information out there. We're their only source a lot of times for getting this information out there. It's very important. You don't want to have to wait till something like that happens to you. I'm not in this because I have had a situation where I have a missing person in my family. I thank God, I knock on wood, that I've never had to experience that. But have I had people murdered in my family? Yes. Do I have unsolved murders in my family? Yes. My 19-year-old nephew was murdered, shot to death. Okay? in Washington, D.C., 2020, April the 9th. Okay? And his case is still unsolved. His case is still unsolved, y'all. I sit up and I watch my sister go through hell on a daily. I watch her grieve. I watch her spend like most of her extra time at his grave site. Sometimes spend the night there. Sleep in her car, lay next to the grave just to be close to her child. This has been 2 years. And for her, it's like yesterday. And it kills me inside to sit and watch her go through that on a daily. And it's not a motherfucking thing I could do. Like, the only thing I can do is make sure I'm active on his case. Make sure that I'm in them law enforcement agencies' faces. Make sure that I share his story. Make sure every time that I need to do a news interview or something, I do it. And most of the time, because we have had this rise in crime, we have had a rise in crime, y'all, in the DMV area. And most of the time, I do interviews with the local news stations, you know. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's, y'all just don't know. And I've been doing this for 30 years. I've lost many relatives. This is I can't even give you a number of how many times I've been in this place. And now it's with my nephew. I lost my uncle to gun violence in 1997. My uncle was murdered. Okay, cousin in 2010, 2014, 1985. I can go on and on and on of the amount of times that I have experienced that. Okay, but this time, 2020, April the 9th, it hit home. Just imagine being that close to a person that's hurting like that and you can't do nothing about it. I can't do nothing about it to take her pain away, y'all. No matter how many trips and dinners we done sat down to and drinks we done had and nights we done set up and talked about it all night. I can't tell her how to feel. I don't go off I don't tell families how to feel. Okay? Because grieving is a process. And we don't know how long that's going to take. I've seen situations where my cousin was murdered, 2010. His case was solved. The people were convicted and arrested and convicted and sentenced. That man got 60 years on killing my cousin. Okay? And I watched his mom. Basically, she got herself together through working and just evolving in life, trying to do the best. And then we have some families like Jalen Jones. I'm working with that case now. Have, managed to get that mom a lawyer and all of that stuff, because that's what I do. Those are the type of resources I have under my umbrella, because like I said, when it comes to these cases, whether it's on the murder side or the missing side, there is a lot of things that is centered around those things. A lot of times we have wrongful deaths involved in some of these cases. I want y'all to check out my last show from last Tuesday. I had attorney Tanya Sweat. I even put some clips up on my TikTok page. We talked about wrongful deaths and how that thing all works out. All right? This Tuesday, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the case of Tyree Nichols. That's another one that is a fucking doozy for me. I feel sick to my stomach to know here we are at this place again. And what's even more sick about it, that baby had 5 fucking monsters, demons, beating and pounding on him for no fucking reason. And it should be an example. And I know they're going to set an example for them. Okay, because it needs to be an example set for them. I believe they should have the death penalty for that shit, because the way that they did it, how they spoke about it in the midst of why they was doing it. And what I want to understand is, and what I never understood is, because every bad encounter with a police officer, it is always, when it comes to me, it's always been with a black one. All the time. I don't know where the fuck these black police officers, like, I don't know what minds they just get this mindset. Most of them is punks, been punks they motherfucking lives, so they get these badges, and them badges supposed to make them, you know, some type of, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, but the shit is sickening to know that. It's sickening to hear them talking about how they threw haymakers, how they stomped and kicked, and to hear that mom, and to know that that baby was 80 feet from his house screaming for his mother. Y'all, oh my God, I don't know. I really did not get over the George Floyd situation, but this one right here makes it's like even worse. Why? Because it's us. It's us killing us in any situation. In any situation, you know what I'm saying? Any situation that it's us. It's us. We killing us on an all-time high, y'all. And the sad part about it is that we're less than 13% of the population when it comes to black people. We got 4% police killings and stuff, but then we got 64% of these gun violence, homicides, and murders are us on us. It's like black on black. People don't want to hear that. They don't want you to say it, even mention the fucking word. But it's us killing us. It's us destroying our neighborhoods. It's us turning a blind eye to the shit that goes on in our neighborhood. And then when we reach out for people's help, our politicians, our elected officials, guess what? The first thing they're going to do is they close this motherfucking neighborhoods down. I see it on a daily in Washington, D.C. Most of our public housing that we had don't even fucking exist anymore. Because our bad behavior validates them coming in and just taking everything from us. Just keep getting beat up by the police. You know, it's different situations. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing. I was telling people yesterday, this is not a black or white cop thing. This is a good cop, bad cop thing. Okay? We were talking about the wrongful death situations when it's around those, you know, the kids out there riding around on them ATVs, all right? It was so many taxpayers' money has paid towards so many of them. Most of the if it's that's not private money that pays those lawsuits. First of all, okay, that's not private money. That is taxpayers' money that pays those lawsuits. All right, but that person riding around on that ATV, because it's illegal on some streets in the DMV area, is illegal. Not on some streets, it's illegal to have them out there. So if you're out there and you're riding around on that thing and you know you're not supposed to be riding around on that thing, then guess what? You're negligent for your own demise. Okay? It becomes reckless when the police chase you. Okay, when the police chasing you through these neighborhoods and where bus stops at and people and all of that shit, that's when it becomes reckless. And that's when it becomes the fault of the police department. So you know what they done told them now? Fuck that. Don't chase them. Don't chase them. Because when that shit get into the pub, the reason why, and another reason why a lot of those cases were, settled, is because it got out in the public's eye. It looked bad. Okay, so once the news media get a hold to this and we get the protesting and shit up in front of the police precincts and all this other shit, it becomes bad. So then when it gets to that point, they go ahead and they settle. And most of the time, them families take those settlements because they know that a lot of times, them people were held negligent too. And if they take it any further, they can very much, find that out, and these people might not get anything. Okay? Because riding those ATVs and stuff through the streets and things like they do in the DMV area is illegal. The police was chasing these people. They was ramming them into walls and riding up next to them, knocking them over. And that's, we just gonna have to get our shit in order, y'all, for real. We gonna have to start working on us, start being a part of the change that we want to see. It's our responsibility no matter what. If you live in these neighborhoods, I don't give a fuck. If you live in these neighborhoods, it's your responsibility. I hear people say all the time, oh, I don't got no kids. I don't care. If you live in a neighborhood where there's children at, then you got children. Just as simple as that.
I've had some personal problems that distract.
And voting is the key. First of all, knowing how to vote. Because a lot of people don't know how to vote. We complain about so much stuff, right? We complain about mass incarceration. We complain about so many different things, okay? But of course you're going to have mass incarceration if you're not taking the time out to vet your fucking judges. And when I say vet, go see how many black people they done locked up. See what their history is as being serving as a judge. And that would determine. I remember we had to vote for 5 judges. Every election year, what I do is I do interviews, exclusive interviews with the candidates, because I know that we want to know who the hell they are. A lot of times we be having so many different candidates that come up in front of us. Everybody wants to take the job of, doing this, running our city, running our and you have to vet these people. We put so much emphasis on the president, but to be honest with you, the president don't produce no smoke. It's the motherfucking Senate. And most of them people been in Senate since Jesus was a baby. Because y'all won't move towards moving them out. Most of them have them old goddamn ancient beliefs. Look what happened at the U.S. Capitol. January the 6th. I was here for it. We had to live through that shit. It was disgusting. And we tried the same damn thing as black people protesting right there on them steps. And guess what they did? Pepper sprayed us and every goddamn thing else. Them people went inside of that place. People were murdered. They was hopping the fence like monkeys the whole goddamn 9 yards. Okay? Yes, our vote really counts. Our vote really counts, Queen. It does. What do you mean? Yes, it counts. We just have to learn how to vote. We have to learn how to participate in the process. Like I said, we let them deter us and take our votes from us because people do is something as simply as most of these politicians don't even come to your damn neighborhood. They don't even come to your neighborhood. Guess what they do? They send one of those mail-in circular flights. Girl, we had got so many of them motherfucking things. This last election, people were sending me pictures of them. They were using them as dustpans and had them all stacked up on their table. That's how they get your vote. Most of them don't even come into your neighborhood. Most of them don't even know what's going on in your neighborhood. They sit up too damn high to look down low enough to see what's going on with you. They don't care. But they're going to come out. They're going to throw you all kinds of little hot dog socials and book bags and turkeys and all kinds of shit. That's what they do in D.C. They throw us little shit when it's time to vote. They put some programs into place. See, Muriel Bowser is famous for that shit. She put all kinds of programs into place just to lure you in. And by the time she take that seat, by the time she is reinstated back in, them motherfucking programs is gone. Okay? Why? Because she already done got your vote. Y'all, we got to start voting smarter. We can't just let them, every time they summons us, we come out like fucking zombies in the apocalypse to vote for these presidents and stuff. Look what voting for Biden got us. First thing he do, and I'm not going to say it was just it wasn't really him that did that Asian hate law. That was just a slap in the face. And see, when you live in places where Asians run all of your convenience stores and Chinese restaurants and all of that bullshit like it is in the DMV area, now, since that Asian hate law, baby, them Asians done packed up. And they done went back home, honey. And now, all of our majority, 90% of our once owned Asian convenience stores and all of that stuff, guess what they are now? They're smoke shops. Okay? They're smoke shops that then popped up all over the place. And they bring a terrible element. Okay, because they're open all night. They sell all kinds of drug paraphernalias and every goddamn thing else. Okay? A couple of Tuesdays ago, I interviewed our county council for Prince George's County. That's all we've been talking about in Prince George's County. It's those goddamn smoke shops. They are everywhere. The people that hangs out in front of them, you know, you scared to pull up in front of them because you don't know if somebody gonna carjack you, bust you over your head, take your goddamn purse. You don't know what's gonna happen. But that's our issue right now, and they basically just came in. Them Asians, baby, they packed their shit up. I walked in stores and saw them exchanging money. Look, take this shit, we gone. They done sold them businesses, and now we have these damn smoke shops, y'all, in our neighborhoods robbing us fucking blind. Yes, I said it. Because they are. They're in our fucking neighborhoods robbing us blind, open 24 hours. With all kinds of people hanging out in front of them. Selling that shit in there, jacked up prices. And then I found out that, and this is how we can help each other. When you go into these stores and you see a pack of dollar store toilet paper in that motherfucker for $4, and you know it costs $1.25, because they're not supposed to go over 100%. Okay, like if they bought that $1.25 toilet paper, they can only go up to $2.50. Okay, and when you see shit like that overpriced and everything, you need to report that. You need to report it. When you see a name brand item in one of these little convenience stores and it's $10 motherfucking dollars for a box of Kellogg's cornflakes, and you know you can go to the store and buy to the Shoppers or the Giant or the Safeway and buy for $5, you supposed to report that, because they not supposed to go up at all when it comes to name brand stuff in these stores. Go back and listen to the clip. Listen to it. I done posted that. That was my interview with Walla Blugay. She is our vice county counsel for Prince George's County District 6. And that's all we've been complaining about in these town halls and all of this shit, is those goddamn smoke shops. We have moved towards the legalization of marijuana. Okay? In Maryland, I knew Maryland was going to be legalized before DC, because we do things different out here. Okay? We do stuff a little different out here. Alright? Our marijuana dispensaries and everything that we've always had out here is centered around medical. The medical benefits of the whole thing. When I first got into radio, I had the pleasure of interviewing Joan Pratt Fosico. She actually worked with Mel Carnahan. Okay, she's a politician. She got the ball rolling when it comes to moving towards legalizing marijuana. Okay, she got the ball rolling on that in DC. All right, open up the first dispensary, all of that type of stuff. Now we have dispensaries in DC. You don't need a medical card to go in. You just have to be 21 years of age, and then a lot of those are not legal, because some of those are being busted wide open. Okay, you in there buying your shit, and then the police and the ATF and everybody else come in there and arrest the motherfucking people and lock you up, take your weed and every goddamn thing else. Okay, so a lot of those places ain't even legal. They're coming down, and they're going to come down once they move, once they really legalize this shit. I had the pleasure of working on the Initiative 71 and Initiative 77 to legalize marijuana in Washington, D.C., and working with Progressive Maryland when it comes to legalizing D.C. and legalizing marijuana in the state of Maryland. So starting July, it will be fully legalized out here in Maryland. Okay? And I'm talking about moving towards the point of releasing these people that's locked up in jail for selling weed. And y'all understanding what the legalization means. Okay? Because there's many, many aspects, like working in D.C., on Initiative 77 and 71, we were looking at it in a way to bring economical wealth into our neighborhoods, where people can buy a license, $300, and they could be growers and be suppliers. That brings money. Okay? Selling it the right way. You know, there are ways of doing it. But we have to be more involved in learning how to participate in the process of voting. We have to vet our candidates. We have to vet these elected officials. Sometimes they run out of time, y'all. But we vote on the stupidest shit. Like, we vote for the stupidest reason. Oh, they look cute in a suit. Oh, that's my friend. That's my best girlfriend from now, all of that bullshit. You have to ask yourself, because these people are responsible for our lives. Some of them 2 years, some of them 4 years, some of them for a long fucking time. You have to decide whether before you vote, you have to vote like your fucking life depends on it, because it does. And you have to start vetting these candidates. It's nothing wrong with taking some time out. These fancy cellular devices that we pay a fucking obscene amount of money for. Go in them motherfuckers and go to them website and start vetting these people. Go see if they got some criminal history. Go see if they done stole money. You know what I'm saying? They didn't, because a lot of these politicians, they just be in these positions and they don't have no laws to hold them accountable, and they can step down or be made to resign 1 year and then run for that same chair or that same seat the next year or the next election cycle and get in. So start vetting these people. Start understanding how government works. Okay, first of all, everybody has a job. We have council members in Washington, D.C. Guess what? We found out that a lot of these council members are basically, they are with the many committees. Okay, we have many committees when it comes to safety, environmental, housing, health, schools. You know what I'm saying? It's a committee for all of that. And a lot of these politicians, a lot of our elected officials sit on these committees. So they are supposed to write up legislation for certain things. Pass legislation, not pass it. A lot of them don't pass it. We have also in DC, we have something called an ANC commissioner. They are the people, the local, they're in your neighborhoods. They are the people that's in your neighborhoods that are supposed, they are appointed to basically come and report all of this stuff and what you might need for your neighborhood or what you might need for your schools and this, that, and the third. And when those people don't work and do their job, we had several elected officials that's been reelected, and they've been a part of doing some of the most fucked up stuff. Okay, like our housing situation. Right before general elections, they bust the goddamn lid off of the situation we had going on with the housing in Washington, D.C. Only 72% of our public housing was occupied. They've been lying since Jesus was a baby. The goddamn list, Section 8 list, public housing list ain't been open since Jesus was a baby. Okay, they have been getting money to fix all of these apartments that people move out of, but they haven't. They've been stealing the money. They've been using the money for other shit. That's just like our infrastructure. There is money that's supposed to be put into our infrastructure, far as the water pipes, replacing the water pipes and shit like that. But they done took that money, and they're using that money to build brand new fucking buildings and things in Washington, D.C. Y'all, Washington, D.C. used to be Chocolate City, but it's no longer that anymore. Okay? It's no longer Chocolate City. It's more like Vanilla Swirl right now. Okay? Because these people have came in. They have taken black people's homes and stuff. You know, we had black people, you know, owning their own homes and things of that nature. These people then came back. Some of them didn't own their owns, and the people that came, you know, that then relocated. I sat in. My friend is a real estate lawyer. Okay, and during, you know, the pandemic, a lot of her cases she do via Zoom. So I happened to be at her house one day, and she was on a Zoom court case with trying to help a woman in Washington, D.C. who had lived in the Anacostia area. Now, Anacostia, for people that don't know, Anacostia is a black area. It's where I was born and raised. I was born and raised in Southeast Prairie Farms. I was born on my grandmother lived in Bury Farms 26 years before I was even born. Okay, and she was one of the first people to get a place down there, and that's historical. Okay, that's a historical place. That's where the first free black slaves built land. They build them homes and everything down there. They use their own economical wealth to do it. Okay, so that had a lot of historical value. Okay, and this woman had been living in a house in the Anacostia area. She had been in that house for almost 40 years, thinking that she was on a rent to own situation. And see, let me tell you something. A lot of people don't understand that fucking rent to own thing. Okay, that rent to own thing means that you're in this house. If this person that owns the house happens to sell it, then you can buy it. Okay? So this woman had been living in that house for almost 40 years, thinking she was on a rent-to-own situation. Come to find out, the white lady said to her, just as clear as day, oh, we was never thinking about selling our property. We were waiting for the opportunity to come back. Okay? So now, DC, if you don't make $85,000 a year or more, you're not going to be able to live there. They have basically took out housing. They have they put all these new apartment buildings up that's supposed to, so many units in these apartment buildings are supposed to be offered to low income Section 8. But a lot of times that don't happen like that. Most of the time that never happens like that. They come into these neighborhoods. They tell these people, oh, we're going to remodel. We're going to fix it up. We're going to give you some new roofs, some new refrigerators, all this bullshit. And you will be able to come back. And these people are never allowed to come back. Okay, we've been having so many issues every time that I turn around. Like I said, I'm all over the place when it comes to advocating. I feed people every Sunday with a whole truckload of food. I have been donated a whole truckload of food every Sunday. I get out. Yesterday, we fed 2 whole communities and 20 families. Individual. Okay? Yes, we did. Yesterday. And I've been doing that for the past 3 years. Every way that I can help and participate in the part of the, change that I want to see, I do it. I get frustrated a lot because I want us to wake up and stop causing so much harm to each other. We're all the fuck we got. Whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not, we are all the fuck we have. You ain't gotta like it. But we as black people, we gotta have more love for each other. We gotta stop feeling fucking sorry for ourselves and stop pointing the finger all of the time. And stand in the mirror and take full responsibility on what you do or what you don't do. Yes, I'm talking about Washington, D.C. We for real, we need to do better. We need to do better all over the place. Seriously. Because y'all think that we can't go back to the 1800s and all of that shit, the 1600s and shit. Okay? Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. They only get us like this when they see us weak. We are the most entertainingest race on the whole motherfucking planet. Our demise, our bad misfortunes, every fucking thing that we go through in our lives is on every goddamn TV all over the world.
Yep. Bought a CD though. Got a great deal. I got some great discs. I got Springsteen, some Tina Turner, some old stuff. You're gonna love it.
I'm feeling okay. You know, I just, like I said, I want us to wake up. It's frustrating. It hurts to see every time I get a case, every time I'm reading about something. We got our children like they going fucking crazy here. Juvenile life here in Washington, D.C. is to you, what, 18, 21 years old. And most of them ain't getting that. And I asked the question about that. Who the fuck is going to be held responsible for these kids' bad behaviors? Somebody going to have to start taking accountability. Somebody. Y'all parents need to be more attentive to your children. This nobody's motherfucking problem or responsibility to raise your children but yours. You have to send these motherfucking babies out here in this world for everybody else to deal with them. And it's some of us out here dealing with our kids. It ain't no fucking excuse for nothing. Y'all can run all kinds of excuses of past me. I done been there, done that. I done had to raise 3 children by myself. Single fucking black woman. I done had to make sure that I put them through school. Work 2, 3 jobs if I fucking had to. It was my responsibility to do that. As their parent, whether their father was around or not. I've too done suffered through childhood trauma. I done seen it all, y'all. I'm one of them kids that came through the war on drugs in Washington, D.C. I witnessed the murders, the 4,500 people that lost their lives during that time. I witnessed that shit. I was out there as a child jumping rope playing and somebody rides up and shoots somebody I'd have known all my fucking life and blood splattered all over my shirt and face and everything else. I done saw it firsthand. I don't make no excuses and I don't allow no motherfucking body else to make them. I suffer with depression every day. Okay? I done been through some shit. And it's still not an excuse. 2002, I was in a car accident. Alright? Lost my ability to walk. Every fucking bone in my body was broken. Okay? Every bone in my body was broken. They told me I would never walk again. That was 2002. 2004, I started back walking. And then I took off fucking running. Because it's what God says. So I don't make no excuses for myself. I walk in my truth every fucking day. And I'm not going to let you make no excuse. We can be better people. We can do better. We can rise above all of this shit. We don't have to be in this situation. We can stand up for ourselves. We vote these people in, y'all. We have the power. We hold the power. We the ones that vote these people in. When they summons us to come out, oh, we need you to vote Donald Trump out. We need you to vote this up. We rise to the fucking occasion without even doing any research or anything. We just do it. But when it comes to us loving on us, we don't do that. We don't do that. When it comes to us loving on us. We don't do it. And we need to start. Black Lives Matter starts in your black fucking home. Okay? Just as simple as that. We can make or break this shit. It's up to us. And it ain't no one person that can do this. It's going to take us all. That's the issue that we have even in the Black community. Everybody wants to be the fucking one. Everybody wants to be the one. Wants to be the one to do this. Wants to be the one to do that. No, it's going to take more than one person. It's going to take us all. Standing together. Doing what we know is right. Even when it comes to voting. You have to start taking that serious. You have to start vetting, or we're going to keep on getting the same results. This is our fault. It's people that died just to give us this right. Just to give us the right to vote. (2022) elections and the primary elections for Prince George's County, Maryland, 65% of the people didn't even fucking vote. (65% of the people didn't vote. We gotta do better. It ain't nobody's fault but ours. So start learning what participating in the process looks like. Start vetting your candidates. We got 2024 fastly approaching. We're going to have to vote for a new president or keep the motherfucking same one we got in. We got work to do. There's going to be people in the Senate. We got work to do, y'all. And it's never too early to start. We got to start coming together. Each and every city, each and every, state. As Black folks, we're going to have to start and stop allowing them to tell us, dictate to us who we should vote for, who we should vote out, all of that type of shit, because we hold the key to that. And they do everything in their power to try to stop that. And we sometimes allow it. But it's up to us. Start showing up at your town halls. Start showing up at your town halls, whether it's on the phone or it's in person. Start researching it, because a lot of times they have these town halls and they don't even tell you about it because they don't want you to be there. They don't want you to be a part of the decision making. What goddamn store they're going to bring to your community, whether you need a store or not. Okay? You need to be being a part of that. If you know it's something lacking in your fucking community, you need to show up and show out, and you need to use your voice, because a closed mouth don't get fed. Okay? So get your asses up and start showing up at your town hall. Start being a part of the shit. Start letting them feel your presence there so they can know we're not to be fucked with no more. You're not going to just tell us who to vote for and who not to vote for. You're not going to summon us like fucking zombies to come out and vote this person out and vote this person in. Start standing up and watch. Try it and see. Try voting. Try reaching one, teaching one, and see how that shit works out. You ain't going to know how it's going to work until you try it. Stop giving up. That's what they want you. They want you to say shit like, does my vote really count? They sit and when they start their campaigns and all of this shit, that's why they don't come in our neighborhoods. Because we have those things. Does our vote really count? Fuck yes, it counts. Yes, it counts. And it's your job to reach one, teach one. You teach somebody what you've learned about something. Start using your voice. Start waking other people up. Even if you wake one motherfucking person up. And that person wake 5 up. So we doing something. But we got to stop thinking that our vote don't count. We got to get out of that mindset of thinking that. We got to get out of that damn mindset of thinking that shit. Because our vote does count. If it didn't count, they wouldn't try to stop us from doing it. And they wouldn't summon us to fucking do it. It does. It means everything. And like I said, we have to deal with these people. These people hold our lives, our livelihoods in the palm of their hands. They determine whether it's going to be jobs brought to our city. They determine whether the schools are going to be, done right. They determine all of that, y'all. They not only, they affect our children too. They all of that. They hold the key to all of that. And we hold the key as registered voters, as people, to say whether we're going to tolerate this shit or we're not. We got to start standing up. For real. I don't know what it's going to take for y'all to understand that your vote does mean something. I used to think that same thing. I just vote just fucking because. I ain't know who the hell I was voting for, why I was voting for them, what they did to deserve my vote, or anything. I just did it. Because my grandmother always put into me, use your vote. Your vote is power. But at the same time, they wasn't teaching me how, how to vote. They just told me to go out and do it. And so when I was old enough to get my voter registration card, that's exactly what I did. Until I learned who to vote for, how to vote, how to vet these candidates. Like I said, when I started my radio show, 2015, that was my target. Missing people and educating the community. I had every goddamn candidate. I remember that 2016 elections. I had every goddamn candidate on that was running in the studio interviewing them. Why? Because I had registered voters that listened to my radio show. And they wanted to know. I would show up at the polling places and see people walking in with those god-awful goddamn cards that's been sent to their mailbox with who to vote for. I saw people walking into the goddamn place with them things. They ain't even made their own mind up on who they're going to vote for. They let the cards tell them who the fuck to vote for. So why you think we keep having these same issues? Try a different way and see if it works. Instead of thinking it's not working, because we got to do something. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't need him. And we need to do better. I see a lot of people, like a lot of our young children, that first-time voters and things, they are moving towards the independents. Okay? This voting cycle, I voted all over the goddamn place. Alright? I'm a registered Democrat, and I voted all over the place. Because that's how much vetting of my candidates I did. I vetted them motherfuckers down to, I dug deep. And then if I could get them on my platform to talk to them face to face, that's what I did. Okay? That's what I did. I interviewed Dan Cox. He was running for our governor out here. He's a Trump supporter. I dig deep. I went as far as pulling up his, because I was hearing all kinds of stuff. He was getting $3 million donations from the Democrats, all kinds of shit. I went as far as pulling up his motherfucking financial reports. All 121 pages of them. And I siphoned through it to see if I saw that $3 million donation on there, because it ain't had to say Democrats. It could have said anything. Okay, but see, you have to know how to do this shit. You have to vet these people. Because one thing, they're going to put all kinds of information out there about your person. They're going to do the smear campaigns, baby. They're going to be coming out with the smear campaigns. Okay? They're going to be coming out with it. You have to be able to siphon through the bullshit to make the right decisions. Because like I said, this shit is like you're voting like your life depends on it. And it very much does. Your children's schooling, their education, your home, taxes, health care, all of that shit is at stake. So if y'all don't want to take that serious, I don't know what else you're going to do. Y'all, I'm telling you, somebody had to meet me where the hell I was. Like I said, I was just one of them people that just went with the flow. Oh, I'm voting, so I'm doing the right thing. No, it's bigger than that. Because you got to know what you're voting for, who you're voting for. Like I said, we throw up and we complain about so many different things. This mass incarceration that's been going on since Jesus was a baby. But if we took the time out and vetted our judges, that would change that shit a lot. Y'all. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know this. They want you to keep on going like you've been going and keep on having these same people, and then we get mad because we ain't getting no, you know what I'm saying, no restitution and all this other bullshit, reparations. We pissed off. Because the first thing Biden came in there and did was pass this Asian hate law. But guess what? It wasn't Biden that did it. It was your Congress. It was your Senate that did that. The people that we overlook, that we keep in, that's the been there. We don't vote them out or nothing. They already have their assessors lined up to come in and cause more fucking havoc once they die. Most of them people die out of Senate. Die out of Congress. Y'all know it. Because y'all don't take the time out to even vet these people. But then you wonder why your taxes are so high. And why, we got black people and shit getting locked up all over the place. People being locked up for stealing the coat, stealing the pack of bacon out the goddamn store, doing life sentences. Whose fault is that? That's our fault. Like I said, we pissed off. Oh, Biden, he done passed the Asian hate law, not even understanding it wasn't him that did it. Just like when we had our black president, y'all think he was going to get his motherfucking foot in the door and be able to make any changes with the Senate being set up the way that it fucking was? Why you think he didn't get a lot of things done? Because they wasn't going to allow him to do it. They're going to keep their foot in his motherfucking throat. Every time he can veto some things, he can veto a lot of some shit, but he does not make the decision. It's up for the House to make the, decision. They have to vote. Not him. But y'all act like y'all don't know that. But then every time he give, we got him in and we finger pointing like it's his no. It's our fucking fault because we didn't vet these people right. We ain't vote some of these people out that's supposed to have been voted out because we think our vote don't count. It does. You got to 2024 to reach as many people, educate as many people as you can on how to participate in the process. Okay? This is about us, y'all. And I'm going to come here fussing and cussing every fucking chance I get until I wake us up. We all got to do right. And I'm going to say, I have my faults and shit too. I'm just waking up on some shit too. And now that I'm woke, I'm pissed off and ready to make some changes. So we all got that to be responsible for. Ain't none of us perfect in this shit. But each election cycle, we have a chance to do it right. We have a do-over. Be a part of the change that you want to see. Is your divine right. Is your responsibility. Okay? I love y'all so much, and I appreciate my TikTok family just for everything that y'all do. And continue sharing these flyers, okay? Because these families need your help. All right? And I'm going to get ready to get off this phone because it is 8:16 and somebody should be, I should be able to reach one of these Detroit detectives and see what the fuck is going on with Dante Wicker, okay, and Amari Kelly, because that ain't right, and they need to step up and they need to take this serious. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to come back later and let y'all know how that went. Okay? Wish me luck. I love y'all. Have a great day. Be safe out there. Okay? I love y'all.